Welcome to DW. Can I ask you, how was it possible for Ukrainian troops to recapture so much territory in the northeast in just a few days?
Anya, I think it's a combination of three things. First of all, the Russian forces are exhausted. Their logistics are exhausted. Leaders have been killed. And we've watched for the last couple of months the deterioration of morale and fighting spirit of Russian forces throughout. So they don't have the will to fight. That's number one. Number two, the impact of weapons provided by the West, particularly long-range rockets, these kinds of capabilities have been very helpful in disrupting or destroying Russian logistics, Russian artillery, Russian command posts, really creating a lot of problems for the Russians in their rear area, which makes it difficult for them to figure out what's going on and to react. But the third thing is all credit to Ukrainian general staff and forces. They are disciplined. They've done a good job of protecting information, what we call OPSEC or operational security, and they deceived the Russians where the main attack was coming by talking openly about an attack in Kherson when the main attack actually was coming from the north. So really top level execution of a operational design.
Can I ask you how you read Moscow's almost total silence on what we're seeing here, this defeat?
Well, I think obviously they are bewildered, probably some shock. I think that this is a system that never pushed up accurate information from the bottom to the top. So perhaps people in the Kremlin and at different levels had different views of what was really going on, how bad it was, or didn't have the feel. So I think probably some judgment calls were being made that were prejudiced by their bias going in about how much better Russian forces would be than Ukrainian forces. Mm-hmm. But it does also have the feel in these early days. There's an awful lot of finger pointing going on. I think we're going to see people being sacked, and you're going to have friction inside the Kremlin and inside Russia, both from ultranationalists as well as people who thought that the Russians should have never invaded to begin with.
Do you expect more of what Kyiv is calling Russian revenge attacks in the wake of the Ukrainian advances that we're seeing?
I would imagine so. I mean, the Russians have no other option other than to keep trying to kill innocent people, launching big missiles into residential areas like they're doing. And so they can't, with ground forces, really stop what Ukraine's doing. The Russian Air Force is hardly to be seen, and the Russian Navy is hiding behind Crimea. So I just don't see a real strong likelihood of any kind of a large military effort. And so the Russians will try to compensate by launching missiles into cities until they either run out or they are stopped.